Where were you stationed?
Where was I stationed in World War II? I I was drafted and I was sent to Fort McClellan, Alabama, for my basic training. And after 17 weeks of basic training, they gave us a 10-day delay en route. So I had 10 days to get from Fort McClellan to Fort Meade, Maryland. And after we got our physicals and haircuts, and I was put on a ship from Hampton Roads, and 10 days later I landed in Oran, Africa.
Oran, how do you spell Oran now?
It's on there.
Oh,
Right, spell it.
ORAN.
Right.
okay.
And we were, as typical in the Army, we were moved around, shoved around, getting ready to leave there, and not knowing where we were going because everything was secret. You couldn't say anything. So we left Oran in early 1944 for an unknown destination, and
How long were you there?
in Oran,
Yeah.
a week or 10 days.
Oh, okay.
10 days. And then they put us on a British convoy, and we went out to sea not knowing where we were going. And we ended up in Naples, Italy. And they put us on a train. I forget what they used to call it. I think 40 or 8 or 40 by 8. 40 men or 8 cows or horses, something.
Uh-huh.
And we went on tracks that were very slow, and we ended up in Caserta, Italy, at a replacement depot. And this was just before the time that everything was about to break out in European theater. So they sent us, after we were there for a week or two, they sent us back to Naples and put us on a ship for Anzio, beachhead.
No, until this time you saw no combat.
No, I was just moving around.
In
You
Egypt.
were going into the,
You didn't dig any trenches or anything like
No,
that? Nothing.
no. Well, we had training here, but didn't do it over there.
Okay. Okay.
And we got to Anzio, of course. While we were on a ship off of Anzio, they had the D-Day invasion of Normandy. So the Germans were, what they were doing, they were trying to hit the Germans from a lot of fronts, so they couldn't
Surround.
concentrate on just one. So we went into Anzio, and the troops in Anzio were attacking north in Italy, and I don't know how many divisions, but I was a replacement. If you know what a replacement is, it's when somebody gets killed, you take his place.
Ooh.
And that's what my job was. So we went into Anzio, and we could only come in so far. We had to take landing craft because the Germans were still shelling Anzio.
Oh, okay.
So all of us had to run. We get off the ship and we got on a landing craft. Then we had to run across the beach and get into a safe hole because the Germans were shelling us.
Did anybody die then? Did you know anybody?
Not right then. No. We got
You all made it.
we got through that because they were protecting us with ships were firing. I don't know how detailed I should go.
That's okay. It's interesting.
Well, you can always cut it.
Yeah.
So our job was to follow.
Are you listening?
Our job was to follow the units that were breaking out of Anzio. And I think we followed them to the town. I can't remember the name of the town. And that's when we joined the 34th Infantry Division. And because my name was Van Alstyne, I was picked down near the end. And I went into the machine gun squad in the 2nd Battalion, say, of the 168, Company G. And I spent all the rest of my time in Italy with the Company G, 168, going up the whole Italian peninsula.
Shooting a machine gun?
That's what I was doing first. First I was an ammunition bearer, but then due to casualties and people getting killed or hurt, I moved up to a machine gunner, and then I'd say a few months later I was a squad leader. I was at that time 19 years old, and I was leading a machine gun squad in Italy.
And you're training, basically, were you trained in machine
I
guns?
was trained in the heavy machine guns, which were permanent. You know, you'd have to set them up. But the light machine guns that we had,
That's what you were having?
they went along with the infantry, the fighting, the combat. You had to have be mobile. So I had a machine gun squad for quite some time, right to the end, in fact. And I never got hit, or I got bounced around a few times, and I lost some men, but I didn't. Don't ask me why.
Did you see them?
Do I see any of them?
Did you see them when they died? Did you see them or no?
Oh, yeah. Well, they usually we got them out of there. We were fortunate. Well, we did see many dead Germans, dead Americans around. But the division I was in was a veteran division who had been in Ireland when they first went over.
You weren't even a veteran guy. How'd you get to lead them?
Because it's a matter of longevity. I was the next one in line. They were getting hurt, or they were getting hit, and they just moved me up there. And my only job was to follow orders and give them orders. And I had a few that wouldn't take them, but that's they deserted us. But that's kind of in between us, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We just followed all the way up through if you look at the map of Italy, it's not easy. Italy was very mountainous and very much rivers.
So you were in tanks or trucks?
No, we walk.
You walked?
Infantry walks.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes they put us in trucks.
You drove yourself.
If you went back for a rest or something, they'd bring the trucks up and put you all on and take you back, say, to 5-10 miles, and you get fresh, hot food and fresh clothes, clean clothes, showers.
Otherwise, what did you eat when you walked?
We had
Rations?
they had rations. They had sea rations, they called them, which were in cans. They had,
You had to carry those in packs?
you carried them. Then they had the K rations, which were in a package that was watertight, sealed. They had crackers and cookies and a can of Spam or something. Pack of cigarettes, little bitty thing. But when they could, the kitchen would try to get as close to you as they could. And when we got in the mountains up in the Apennines, we, and myself included, had to help work with the mules. They couldn't get the jeeps, they couldn't get the trucks up there. So we had to get a mule team, and the mule team was made up of Italian prisoners that were taken when we took Italy. So we had to go back and get them because the Italians were too noisy and too inefficient. So a lot of us had to go back and bring the mules up to the front. And they were strapped in with ammunition and food, medical
They were
supply.
noisy and all that because they didn't
Yeah.
want to cooperate.
I don't know if that. The Italians are noisy anyway. I shouldn't. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Have to edit this tape.
Yeah, they tend to be noisy. And of course a mule is tough to handle. You know, they're stubborn and they know the shells, they hear the noise.
Yeah.
But you had to get a bunch of you and pull them up the trail.
Uh,
Every once in a while one would go over the bank and maybe just shoot it and try to get somebody down to get some of it. But
Okay.
that's what else. That's,
Got any other questions?
Yeah.
Were you ever in the fight?
yeah, this is what we were doing as a. I didn't realize I was talking too much.
No, that's okay.
No, it's interesting.
But yes, the infantryman in the Company G, he is in actual combat with the German.
So you actually saw them or you shot
Oh
them?
sure, oh you saw him.
Really?
Not all the time, but you know we didn't want to be seen a lot of times either. But it was tough for you because you were always on the. You were always on the attack. You were always after the Germans, you know. And when you're in a set area, you're dug in, and I come across looking for you. That's where we lose a lot of men because they shell us. And but yes, I was in actual combat with them, not hand to hand.
For how long? How many months or what?
Well, I was over. I didn't go till later. I was over there in 1944. January, February of 44, and I didn't come. I came home in 46, but the war ended in 45.
Right.
So I was a little over a year in actual combat. You know.
Did you think it would ever end?
Well,
Oh, God.
what scared you when you knew that you knew we were getting the upper hand, and you didn't want to be that last victim. You know,
Yeah.
because they didn't give up.
Yeah. Oh,
They would
okay.
tend to take what they could with them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, then give up. But
Yeah.
that's what happened to my cousin Dudley Mitchell. He was in the 10th Mountain Division, which was there, and he was shot by a sniper, and he never made it. That's why we didn't want to be the last casualty.
Right.
We knew we had him beat, but we didn't want to be the last casualty.
Now, did you have any other family or friends that you lost over there? That you knew? No.
No.
Just your cousin. Did any of the other Van Alstyne brothers go?
See, I was the older. You know,
Your cousins, I mean.
at that in our generation, I was the older, and some of the others went Navy.
Oh, okay.
I was about the only one who went in the infantry from my era. Some other friends, but not with me.
Yeah. But that's how.
What kind of soldier were you?
Exactly.
Me.
He was an infantryman.
Oh, you like what?
United States Army.
Yeah, I was in the army and the infantry.
And he told you infantry meant what?
Infantryman.
Foot soldier, right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You got it.
A lot of walking.
I couldn't walk that much.
Well,
Yeah.
I could walk.
You used
When
to have to drink water out of mud puddles.
I've done that too.
Yeah, he got infections in his mouth.
Trench
I
Yeah.
know.
It wasn't your hygiene sometimes was bad. What could you do?
That's right.
I mean, you're out there. Well, you got no.
Now, how'd you get mail? Did you get mail?
Yep.
How'd they get it to you?
They get it to you.
How long did it take you? Do you think?
Depends on what you were doing,
Yeah.
where the front was, but they ran the company like where the company command was. They had all radios
Yeah,
and
but didn't you end up driving a Jeep? The
well, yeah,
Colonel or
after
something around?
after the war,
Had it made.
In 45.
after the war, yeah,
You had to stay there.
yeah, I had to stay because I was single
Uh-huh.
and 19, plus years age. So they,
No kids.
that's right, wasn't married, no kids,
Yeah.
so I had to stay.
Because
But-
you were kind of cleaning up or picking up
Yeah, we
stuff.
had to be what'd they call that?
I can't remember.
Oh, you know what they call that when you're
Uh,
anyway,
Back up.
you had to be there to clean up and get everything back to normal.
Did you help take German soldiers prisoner?
Yeah. Quite a
What
few.
was that like?
Well, I really, we didn't have much love for him, but we were
Respectful.
humane. Yeah. You might give him a push or shove him around, but I didn't see anybody shoot him or
What were they like?
they didn't get me. What were they like? They were very quiet when we got them.
Did you ever see the concentration camps or anything?
No,
You never saw that?
no, I was not in that area.
You saw Winston Churchill.
Ah.
Came to inspect the troops.
Yes, he did. Winston Churchill respected the American troops, and whenever he was in Italy this time, we were getting ready for, actually getting ready for the big push all over, and we were back on a rest and rehabilitation.
That's where R&R got the words.
Yeah, where you get, fresh food, hot food, and get your ammunition, and get your guns in shape, get yourself in shape, food, and movies. Wherever they could, the Army did try to give you what they could, but when you're fighting,
No.
it's a lot different.
Well, did you fight through a Christmas holiday at all?
Oh, sure.
You did. What was that like? Did you ever see those groups that went over to entertain the troops?
Yeah.
Who'd you see?
I saw let's see, Andrew's sisters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw them. What did I see? Marlena Dietrich, you remember her?
Oh yeah. We just heard her on the radio.
Yeah, I saw her.
You were
You know how many of us saw her? I bet there wasn't over 30 or 40.
Oh really?
She did it on a Jeep and a platform like. She did a service for us up there. Oh, who was the other? I don't know.
I remember those
Jack
two.
Haley.
Who?
Jack Haley. Remember him?
Oh, yeah, I remember him. I
I didn't see a lot of them because they didn't come up that close.
Oh. Were
You know, there was others, but we had more or less the minor ones, you know, that would come up there. I didn't see Bob Hope or anything like
Well,
that.
he was in safer territory.
He never came up that far.
Yeah, he was in safer territory, right?
Yep.
They kept him.
Yeah, he had to be with what he had,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But okay,
Any
that's
more?
it.
What else?
That's it. Now, can you make a story out of
Oh,
that?
now you won your Purple Heart.
I didn't win a Purple Heart. I did not get hit. I got very close. I carried off wounded. Some of my personal friends, Lars Erlandson and Don Larson, got hit. And I remember,
Are they still alive?
I don't know.
We
I
were in
don't know.
Minneapolis. We tried to find
Uh,
their names in a phone book.
Lars, interesting. He's a Swiss.
Lars J. Erlandson.
Is he Swiss or Swedish?
Are you Swedish?
Yeah, Lars.
Yeah, he was a very good, tremendous soldier, but he got shot in a, well, Italians always had these little villages with concrete, and they were all built one to another, little village. Well, we were in there, and German shot through a window, and it hit the wall and hit him in the stomach. So the bullet had ricocheted and had, you know, so we couldn't get him out. Germans wouldn't let us out. Every time you tried to do something, they'd shell you, or so you had to wait until dark, bring the mules down, and put them on a mule. You couldn't get anything in there. So
He died?
I know. Well, last I knew, he was alive in the hospital. I don't know. I never seen him since. I talked to him. Yeah, it was interesting. Very, very, very. But I can remember. After it was over, I was home. First, I went other things I did. You know, we had trips, and after it was over, and then I drove a Jeep. I went first. I worked at a wrecker because I was a garage, you know.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want this.
Yeah.
But I took it because they were going to send us to Japan.
Oh, to fight. Oh.
But then the atomic bomb came, and we didn't go. But I went driving Jeep. I went driving for a 2nd Battalion S4. That's your entertainment division. You know, they take care of entertainment, food, entertainment, shows. And we were up in the Italian Alps, so we had companies scattered all over, and we'd have a USO show come in. Of course, they were minor ones. I didn't. Or we'd have a dance band come in, and we'd have to go to the nearest village to get a busload of Italian girls.
What they do with women?
Yeah, busload of Italian girls come up and dance, and we were responsible for doing that. I was a jeep driver. My officer was. So every time I drive the jeep after that, I had to have a civilians authorized a tag on it. And so my officer was kind of a swinger. And he'd say, take me here or take me there. And he said, oh, by the way, you can use the jeep for a few hours. So I could go into town and pick up a girl like nothing.
Wow.
Right, Tom?
So you told me.
Civilians authorized. It was, you had to be pretty reliable to get it. In other words, they didn't want anybody to run all over the town with it.
Yeah.
But when we came home, of course, I went to Switzerland, took a tour there, and we were up in the Alps. We were in Austria.
What did you do up there?
Well, we were Army. What do you call it? When you're, you know what I'm saying. When you're keeping peace. In other words,
Okay.
somebody has to be there to maintain the peace.
Okay.
Get the money back, get together, get their finances going, and the Army did that, and that's what we were doing. And we had trouble with Tito in Trieste. Remember, we had to go over there. But Tito, you know, he was against the Russians, I guess. So, but we used to tango. They used to drive us off the street because we were told not to fight them.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went back, and some of my friends went home earlier, and I went to Switzerland. I come back, and anyway, when I came home, I went to school for a while. Then my father got sick. I had to come out of school. And well, anyway, I was married to Evelyn. Then I had 2 kids. And Evelyn got sick. And she always used to say to me, now you know why you came out of World War II with no injuries. You were destined to take care of me. But she said that many times. So, that's my life. And you know it all since.
Yeah.
Other questions,
Enough.
Bill?
Any more war stuff?
Did you have any more questions? Seriously?
Nope.
Yeah, you got your homework all done.
Yeah.
You can watch this.
Well, the Germans were, they were a tough soldier. And they were dedicated, but the only problem the German we used to see, they were regimented. In other words, they were taught to do certain things at certain times, and they would do it. But the Americans they couldn't figure us out.
Relax.
Because if you had a chance, you'd go free, guys said, hey, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
And if the officers told you to do something and it wasn't working, you say, hey, let's the hell with this.
Yeah.
But it worked out real well. Oh, we can. Okay, that's
right.
only $50.
Get your money.
That's Neville's.
That's an
Don't blow our
autograph.
candles up.
So now I go to the union.